Anthrax is a dangerous and highly contagious disease that is caused by a rod-shaped gram-positive bacteria known as Bacillus anthracis. This non-mobile microbe has the ability to form dormant spores that are highly resistant to adverse environmental conditions, such as heat, pressure, radiation, and various chemical agents. The microbe is often found in soil, waiting to be picked up by grazing herbivores and allowing it to activate. Spores activate once in the presence of oxygen, classifying it as an aerobic organism.
This virulent and extremely contagious agent was first clinically discovered in 1752. Earliest identification of anthrax dates back to biblical times in 17 to 19 BC. Anthrax reappeared in the 1870s when it was studied by Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch. It was a model organism that Koch used to develop his famous postulates on microbes and disease. The first attempt at creating a vaccine for anthrax was developed by Pasteur in 1881.
When it comes to who or what is affected by this microorganism, Bacillus anthracis has the ability to infect any living mammal, including humans. As soon as the bacterial spore enters the body, the host is infected and has the disease. There are 3 methods to which a spore can enter a target host. The first mode of entry is via cuts, openings, and breaks in the skin, leading to a cutaneous infection. This method of infection is the most common in regards to anthrax, as it makes up for 95% of all cases in the United States. They can easily be identified through the presence of blisters and irritated skin, specifically black coal-like scabs known as eschars found on the body. Cutaneous anthrax infections are considered to be fairly mild, as they are easy to detect and treat early on and are not considered to be fatal.
The next 2 modes of entry are gastrointestinal and inhalational infections, in which the microbe is transmitted into the new host via ingestion of contaminated food or inhalation of airborne spores, respectively. Both are considered to be extremely severe, as they can quickly escalate and become deadly in a matter of days. They are difficult to treat due to the fact that they are almost undetectable in the early stages of onset, appearing to resemble flu-like symptoms. If undiagnosed, they can lead to bodily shock, sepsis, and respiratory failure. At this point, the disease is almost certainly fatal.
Once the spore has entered the host, it will be recognized and engulfed by a macrophage. The macrophages will transport the spore to the lymph nodes away from the site of infection. Over time, the lymph nodes become overpopulated, and in an attempt to lessen the burden, they will transport the engulfed spores to other lymph nodes. By doing so, the spores are moved into the bloodstream, bypassing the antimicrobial environment set up by a host's immune system. Upon germination and release of the spores from the macrophages, pro-inflammatory catalysts are released, eliciting programmed host cell death and wreaking havoc on the immune system. In the case of a deadly infection, 2 toxins known as lethal toxin and edema toxin are released by the microbe, which target the heart and liver. The proteins that compose the toxins form a dangerous cocktail that disrupts cell signaling processes, thereby shutting down the immune response. This leaves the host at the mercy of Bacillus anthracis.
Luckily, treatments are available to combat the disease. Combination drug therapy to reintroduce host immunity is effective as long as the patient has not been previously infected. Antibiotics have been developed, but they must be administered immediately, as spores germinate quickly from their dormant state. Also, spores can remain dormant in hosts for years, leaving them unaware that they are a carrier. Exposure to the anthrax-causing bacterium is of major concern due to the disease's high rate of use in biological warfare. The first case of this was seen in the 2001 U.S. anthrax bioterror attack. The infectious agent circulated in letters via mail which contained the deadly spores. This attack resulted in 22 cases of infection and 5 deaths overall. The largest documented anthrax outbreak was caused by an airborne leak at a nearby military facility in Sverdlovsk, Russia in 1979. 98 people were affected and 64 fatalities were reported.
Today, anthrax outbreaks are uncommon, and the disease is highly monitored due to its severity and ability to cause mass devastation. Thankfully, we have multiple options to prevent, treat, and protect against this lethal biological weapon.